that these symbols meant something good in the past, and all these bad guys use it for something bad, and so he wants to rectify, he wants to bring life back to him. So now he's using these Luciferian and Masonic symbols for that purpose. That was his explanation.
And it's so typical. It's so typical.
I think there's no need for symbols. I mean, I think there's,
but let's say you do.
A logo, you can do a design. Even on his art, because he has art on his webpage, it's very Masonic. I mean, you'll catch the Eye of Providence, you'll catch pyramids, you'll catch everything.
Hey guys, Cullen Smith here. Welcome back to Lifting the Veil.
Okay, so I want to dive in a little bit deeper here and much more further into detail. So this is something that I was not expecting to find, and it absolutely blew my mind as to how incredibly intricate and just how perfect pretty much it all is. And I was not expecting to find that when I was testing this, basically the models of Gary Osborne's hypothesis from, I think it was from 2001. But so just testing this, I was not expecting to find. But just look at how the passageways of the Great Pyramid. Notice the ascending passageway is literally the exact correspondence with the nasal passageway. It's the nasal ascending passageway which meets up with the Grand Gallery, which is the optic passageway. So the nasal is the ascending passageway entering in, moving into the larger Grand Gallery of the optic pathways, then descending, if you continue straight, basically horizontally, laterally, you will continue on into the Queen's Chamber, which roughly corresponds a little bit higher up would be the pituitary gland, so that doesn't exactly fit, but it's pretty damn close. And if you continue ascending further up into the King's Chamber, you ascend into the innermost chamber, which is the third ventricle, the Holy of Holies, again, topped by the vaulted archway of the King's Chamber, which is the fornix, which literally means etymologically vaulted archway of the third ventricle, the innermost chamber, the King's Chamber. And just beneath that is the pineal gland, which directly corresponds. This is what really blew my mind, absolutely blew me away, is the exact angle, slope, and location of the air shaft passing directly through the pineal gland, entering into the third ventricle of the King's Chamber, directly corresponding exactly with the slope and angle and location of the occipital lobe. The differentiation, the divide, the gap between the occipital lobe, directly corresponding to the air shaft on the Great Pyramid. And another and so let's go even deeper. And I want you to notice here the horizontal passageway leading from the ascending passageway, continuing straight, level, into the Queen's Chamber. I want you to notice this passageway right here. Check this out. Directly corresponds with the temporal bone. Directly corresponds with that little passageway, as well as the veins and arteries directly correspond with that passageway. Is that exact? Let me show you this here real quick, just in case, so if you're not seeing it. So again, check this out. Notice again the temporal bone directly corresponding with that passageway on the Great Pyramid. And so now that I've got the skeletal and cardiovascular model up, this is yet even more absolutely mind-blowing, even more astounding. As if you notice this absolutely stunned me. It absolutely blew my mind. As if you notice the exact location of the superficial temporal veins and arteries directly passing through the location of the Queen's chamber, following up just behind the jawline, directly passing up through the exact location of the Queen's chamber, then taking a left-hand turn, angling over, and then directly ascending up directly through the location of the King's chamber. So again, directly passing through the Queen's chamber up into the King's chamber. Look at that. It's absolutely astounding. It's absolutely stunning. Look at that. The exact location of the Queen's chamber and the temporal arteries directly passing through the location of the Queen's chamber up to the left, to the posterior, and into the King's chamber, continuing on, radiating outward, directly corresponding with the rear, the posterior air shaft, and the frontal air shaft, directly corresponding to the frontal portion of the temporal vein, and directly corresponding to the posterior or the parietal branch of the temporal vein, directly corresponding with the angles and the radiations of the air shafts from the location of the King's chamber. It's absolutely stunning. All right, so we can dive even deeper here, and I want to show you guys, this has absolutely astonished me even further, is this little feature that I noticed right here. Is I accidentally included, what I did here was this, these are the superficial veins and arteries, meaning again outside the skull and just beneath the surface of the skin. But I accidentally included in here some of the internal veins, which I'm glad I did, because it turns out that the internal carotid artery, which is literally the largest and most important artery, that is the main source of blood flow from the torso into the skull, the main artery, the main delivery of blood flow, one of the most crucial and critical, if not the most crucial and critical vein in the entire human skull, and one of the most crucial veins in the whole human body. And oftentimes this is most particularly on the left-hand side, the jugular vein, the left and anterior descending, also nicknamed the Widowmaker, because these are the arteries and the veins that are consistently cause a significant portion of strokes and heart attacks, as from cholesterol blockage in these arteries here. So crucial, absolutely crucial arteries, and it directly corresponds precisely, identically with that seemingly weird. There's these weird, seemingly purposeless shafts that extend out from the Queen's chamber, that literally directly corresponds to the internal carotid artery, which then takes an angle and directly follows the angle of the grand gallery, of the ascending grand gallery. So it directly contours and shows this exact angle within the human body, within the Great Pyramid. Directly correspondent. It's absolutely astonishing. And I mean, this is absolutely unprecedented, this level of detail and this level of sync.
Alright guys, I'm terribly sorry, but that we are out of time. That's all the time that we have for this segment of the film. So we will split this up and continue it in the next video. So click the link in the description below, or the box at the top of the corner at the end of this video to click on into the next segment of this video portion. But I've had to limit it to, by popular request, to specifically time limits. So yeah, thank you.
That's literally what
You know, so that's what it all means. That's what it all comes from. And I'm sorry I didn't want to make this too long. I wanted to make this a short video, but you know, like as always, you cannot scathe the surface of this stuff. And as always, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch my videos. If you enjoy this information, please share it around with anyone who you think might also appreciate the information. It's my greatest passion and my purpose and my mission is to continue to produce genuinely inspired and meaningful, uplifting content, intellectual pieces of art.
We haven't even begun to scratch the surface of just how much info is ready and waiting to be produced. I can't even keep up with the amount of output, let alone the amount of writing that is coming through. We haven't even gotten started yet. We are just warming up.
And so we just need to take care of this business, guys. If I can meet my second minimum goal, I will never have to ask or beg for funding ever again. So I want to get to that point where I never have to ask you ever again, because I hate doing it, honestly. I really do. So I hope I never have to ask again by reaching these minimum goals. Because as it stands right now, I am not able to do this full time. I simply am not making enough to pay off the amount of effort that goes into these. So I can't practically do it right now. So we have to meet these minimum goals. Otherwise, I can't do this. Please help me continue in this mission. And check out the merch in the links below. Help support my channel that way, or support my channel on patreon.com/liftingtheveil. Links in the description below. And I will see you guys in the next video. So there is so much more content coming up. First in the lineup is this 6-hour film that I'm going to divide up about the New World Order agenda and the truth about veganism. It will be a part 2 of my other viral film that went out, so the truth about veganism. So stay tuned for that next. It's almost finished. I'm just polishing up. I want to make sure I cover all the details, so it's very in-depth, and that way there's no confusion to leave you hanging. So look for that next.